to introduce Frame Award recipient Gemma Ruse, the co-founder and creative director of Studio XAG. A warm welcome, please.
Thank you. Once upon a high street, not so long ago, Alice was walking along, glued to her smartphone, as usual, when suddenly she stopped. Something caught the corner of her eye. Wow, what's this? I don't remember this. This wasn't here yesterday. What is going on? Curiosity fired up. She crossed over the threshold and stepped inside to discover a whole new world within. Pop-up retail has the power to surprise, inspire, and excite. I'm going to take you through how Studio XAG create retail moments that live a lot longer in the memory than on the shop floor. Does my clicker now control that? Yes, perfect. Okay, we can begin. This is not working. My name's Gemma. I founded Studio XAG in 2009 with my then boyfriend, now husband, Xavier. We set out with an ambition to create the most exciting and creative retail experiences in the world. 11 years later, we are a team of over 35 designers, makers, and forward thinkers working on a global scale from our main studios and workshops in East London and our recently opened Amsterdam space. Hoi Amsterdam. It's nice to be on new home turf today. Studio XAG exists to create wow moments. It's what gets us out of bed in the morning. Wow captures a whole range of emotions: surprise, disbelief, delight. For us, it's about impact and impression. It's about making the extraordinary to provoke a reaction. The 8-meter-high Tree of Liberty that you can see here was suspended in the London department store's grand atrium over Christmas. It had the power to stop even London Christmas shoppers in their tracks, make them exclaim wow, and create a sense of magic and wonder. We tell stories by creating inspiring retail environments. From show-stopping bespoke installations to immersive events, pop-up stores, and global window rollouts. There's got to be a story. When you only have a second to capture someone's attention, you need to connect. For us, the purpose of a pop-up experience is to stop someone in their tracks, get Alice's eyes away from her smartphone, and transform how customers interact with the brand. How do you stand out in this oversaturated landscape? Memorability and intrigue. Physical retail isn't dead. Boring retail is. A pop-up space gives you the opportunity to do something truly bold and really make an impression, to surprise, inspire, and excite. Harvard Business Review states that a business that optimizes for an emotional connection outperforms competitors. By how much do you think? Any idea of the sort of percentages we're talking about? Any takers? No? By 85% in sales growth. It's absolutely huge. The most powerful way to connect with the consumer and to maximize the value of the pop-up experience is to connect with the consumer at an emotional level. So how can we harness that emotive power so that we can really connect? Harvard Business Review research suggests that hundreds of emotional motivators drive consumer behavior. The ones that are most relevant to the pop-up experience are as follows. People are driven by a desire to stand out, project a unique identity, be seen as special. People are driven by a desire for excitement and surprise, to participate in fun, exciting events, feel a sense of thrill and overwhelming pleasure. People want to feel part of a group and a sense of belonging. People are driven by a desire for constant self-improvement and education, and a need to find meaning and worth that goes beyond the financial and touches the heart. Today, we're going to look at 6 ways we can maximize the value of the pop-up experience so we can harness that emotive power and really connect. The pop-up is a billboard, an aspiration, an opportunity to create something that stands out and speaks to your customer in an authentic way. With the media climate in a constant state of flux, brands are looking beyond traditional channels and developing new formats to inspire and engage their community. Sales are not necessarily the primary goal of a pop-up space. Instead, it's used as a tool for marketing, for storytelling, for building brand awareness and brand loyalty. As content consumption adapts to the digital age, brand touchpoints and media formats are diversifying, merging and morphing. Successful retail decisions are made when a physical space is seen as another media channel. So says Ross Bailey, founder and CEO of Appear Here, the online marketplace for short retail leases. We worked with Napapiri, with creative director Jason Loudon, to create a pop-up experience in a small corner shop in a high visibility space in the creative heart of East London, Shoreditch. Napapiri are an Italian premium casual wear brand that we've been working closely with for the past 2 years. We've delivered 2 years' worth of window rollouts from concept to completion, and we've worked on a lot of special projects to bring the brand to the UK where it's relatively unknown and to connect the brand with their new UK consumer in the right way. We used the Shoreditch pop-up as a huge, impactful billboard. We painted it an eye-popping shade of orange. It couldn't be missed. We stenciled the storefront with a giant Napapiri logo, proudly announcing the brand's arrival on the scene. Huge format banners covered the upper floors of the building, showcasing the new brand campaign. The campaign itself was Jason's first for Napapiri and represented a change in tone for the brand. If you believe you're a citizen of the world, you're a citizen of nowhere. So said ex-British Prime Minister Theresa May somewhat ominously at the height of UK Brexit anxiety in 2016. Napapiri's campaign stood in rebellion to this, a total rejection of this mindset, a rejection of figurative and literal borders, and it painted a future full of freedom, future positivity, and inclusivity. We needed to bring that brand campaign message to life in the physical space to immerse the visitor into the out-of-nowhere campaign. The interior walls were wrapped in graphics simulating the landscape, taken directly from the campaign. Hand-sculpted, earth-like terrain mounds lined the perimeter of the space. We needed to make as much visual impact as possible while maintaining as much floor space as possible because the site was very small. It was a billboard, but also an activation space, a community space with curated events. This space focused purely on consumer engagement, a really brave move for a brand to launch in a new market with no physical product for sale. This was all about bringing Napapiri to the UK and to London in a way that served the local community and built brand loyalty through giving the cool, creative local community a platform to discuss and debate their vision of a future positive world and to speak to the brand campaign message with authenticity. Look beyond traditional channels and develop new formats to engage your audiences. I want to tell you quickly about a really exciting project that we just put in last weekend for Anya Hindmarsh. Rather than doing a show for London Fashion Week, she closed her 3 London stores for 3 days and filled them with 90,000 plastic bottles to highlight the enormity of the single-use plastic problem. This is an example of a brand using a space as a billboard in the purest sense to make an incredibly bold statement. Check out our Instagram and website to have a look at it. Future experiences in retail will further blur the lines between retail, marketing, and entertainment. With consumers looking to be entertained more than ever before, brands are adapting, developing new formats to entice, inspire, and engage their community with authenticity. Harness the emotive power of the pop-up with a place for cultural gathering. Spaces become venues of culture, of locality, of authenticity. They've got more attitude than traditional retail formats. Retailers are evolving their spaces to create experiences that cannot be replicated online, adding a layer of play which is rooted in community and culture to build connections with the local area and to drive footfall and sales through relevant and meaningful cultural programming. In the future of retail, brands are no longer confined to the flagship or the mall. Transient retail allows a brand to reach outside the store, becoming more active in the community and bringing its brand story to the source. The Out of Nowhere Shoreditch pop-up was all about bringing people together and connecting to a new consumer with authenticity. The brand gave over their space each week to a local hero of underground culture, niche subculture magazines such as Huck, Polyester, Noisy. These contributors could use the space to spread their message through the Out of Nowhere lens. Panel talks, workshops, parties, exhibitions, events, anything that they felt would speak directly to their tribe. Brands are now realizing the value of localism and tailoring their assets across different geographies and cultures so that each store can speak to a specific community. That's a tongue twister. The retail industry is quite static sometimes. Customers now want fluidity, brands to come to them and provide something more than just a purchase. Brands need their spaces to be flexible. They've got lots of stories to tell that are not necessarily linked to static spaces. To support the ever-changing needs of this space, we made sure that it was transformative and multifunctional. How did we do it? A series of multifunctional, flexible furniture, such as a mobile DJ booth and bar, flexible modular seating. 3 enormous digital screens allowed us to easily transform the space, communicating a single message at any one time, whether that was a brand story or a contributor's story. At the back of the store, an arc of monolithic mirror beams functioned as a stage for live events and also a reflective selfie moment. With an integrated photo booth with a nowhere neon sign backdrop allowed visitors to place themselves within the world of the campaign, creating and starring in their own out-of-nowhere digital content, encouraging social sharing to spread the word. With over 4 million social interactions and an increase in brand awareness in the UK from 8 to 34%, it really worked. The project was deemed a huge success and paved the way for the brand's first retail space in the UK, both of which were nominated for a Frame Award last year, which was rather fabulous. What does this all tell us? We need to redefine how retail spaces are used by challenging the metrics of success. Rather than how much product is sold per square foot, if success is determined on emotional motivators, how well a community is cultivated, how well the customers are educated and engaged, stronger relationships can be established, and with that comes brand loyalty. Brands that can provide consumers with new experiences and can contribute culturally are the ones future-proofing themselves against the decline of the high street. With a focus on brand loyalty, success is determined by community engagement and meaningful relationships. Become a venue of culture and community and create retail that connects to emotions and best reflects the life of your customers. Physical retail needs to undergo a dramatic transformation to maintain its relevance in the digital age. Forward-thinking retailers are selling softly, emphasizing the experience rather than pushing for the sale. The reason to visit is not what am I going to buy, but what am I going to experience? The rise of soft sell experiences is all about giving people a reason to visit your store, way beyond the products you sell. This is more than creating cool Instagrammable moments or VR installations. The point of these spaces is to create an emotional connection between a brand and a consumer. Although product sales can seem to take a back seat in these experience-led environments, in the long run, this strategy will increase sales, as 54% of UK residents are shown to be more loyal to brands that show a deep understanding of their preferences and priorities. Why in-store retail is in fact more relevant than ever before, as the experience economy matures, stores will become consumer engagement spaces where transactions will be a byproduct of consumer socialization and engagement. Gen Z prefer to shop in store, 60% according to Forrester. It's really important to harness the hangout culture and create soft sell brand environments. Retailers are finding that they have to rethink the rhythm of their stores. As we enter a new decade, we see that the path to purchase is continually shifting and becoming hyper-fragmented. More so than ever, that's the shift that matters. Leading trend forecaster WGSN tells us it's no longer a path to purchase, it's a path to people. To launch the labeled collection, Studio ZAG worked in collaboration with Anya Heimmarsh to create a 4-day celebration of organization in the labeled concept store. Anya wanted to bring the customer into her compulsively organized world and offer them a unique retail experience, one which popped up in the brand's Sloane Street store. Anya celebrated the joy of organisation with a series of talks and workshops from industry experts. I seem to be missing a lot of images in the pack. I'm not sure what's happened there exactly. I'll keep going, but if any images could appear on the screen, that would be fab. Anya celebrated the joy of organisation through a series of talks and workshops from industry experts, talking about topics such as managing to-do lists and emails, decluttering, and okay, here we are, we're back. We completely transformed the store into a gradient sea of grey. You can see a before and after here, possibly, or maybe I can only see that on my screen. We transformed the store into a gradient sea of grey, inspired by a 90s office scene. Drab carpet tiles, matte grey walls, a unifying finish upon which to display the rainbow hues of the label collection, a collection born from Anya's obsession with organisation. The store was completely compartmentalised with clear acrylic boxes dividing product into an ordered rainbow. An impossible filing cabinet wall constructed from office supplies and furniture in every shade of grey. Each item, be it a shelf, a plinth, or even a coffee machine, was meticulously labelled, down to the snacks and stationery provided for the guests. An on-site embossing machine allowed visitors to label their pieces in real time, and display plinths showcased Anya's friends' packed essentials for further lessons in organisation. Every element was carefully considered and enhanced the storytelling of the label collection, but the emphasis here was on the experience as a means of amplifying the collection and used as a tool for customer engagement and enrichment. Tapping into those emotional motivators, Anya said, "I challenge anyone to leave without having learnt at least one thing that could be a game changer at improving their productivity." As stores with outdated value propositions continue to decline, the role of the brand is being challenged and evolving to resonate with those emotional motivators. Host of events, launch event, brand collaboration, music event, wellness space, create a space for your community to belong. Service provider, personalization and customization, repair service. What can you offer to draw the customer back into the space and give them something unique that helps them to stand out? Educator, workshops and learning activities. How can you create a hands-on experience for the customer with the product and tap into the customer's desire for self-improvement? To future-proof yourself, transactions will become a byproduct of consumer socialization and engagement. Brands need to focus on creating a sense of belonging, a community-first approach to their retail spaces. Remember, it's no longer a path to purchase, it's a path to people. And you want to create a space that draws them in and keeps them coming back. Another way to make sure that people keep on returning is providing something new with every visit, never being static. Invigorate future spaces with a sense of discovery and constant newness, so that every time you walk into a space, you might be seeing or experiencing something you didn't see before. Harness the emotive power of pop-up retail with a transformative customer journey to surprise and excite. Christian Apple, co-founder of Workshop, said, "When you're creating a retail concept, you should always try and adapt and create something you can change every third month and make sure you measure everything." In a pop-up, there's freedom to explore the unexpected, go against the norm, and test new narratives, a place to develop and experiment with your voice. To launch Napapiri's Futurewear trilogy, we took over a unique pop-up space outside London King's Cross Station. The space functioned as part window display, part billboard, part showroom. A digital meets physical brand experience landed from the future. We needed to communicate the brand story of design, sustainability, and innovation across Futurewear, which is a collection of 3 different product ranges: Superlight, Zenith, and Infinity. Remember Infinity, it's special, we're going to come back to it later. So how did we tackle the brief? We designed a bold, eye-catching space which used the same kit of parts to be transformed 3 times throughout its duration, appealing to the drop culture and creating hype by launching each range consecutively, telling a different product story with each launch. You can take a look here behind the scenes at our team at work in this video, which is not playing. Well, we built the space, and it looked great. An enormous curved digital wall defined the back of the space, and smaller digital totems were positioned throughout. The future wear jackets themselves were hung in these specimen cases, which were fitted to the ceiling, suspended out of reach, a tantalizing teaser of future launches. As the visitor moved through the space, they were reflected in the mirrors that we used throughout the space, merging the digital and the physical content and immersing the visitor within the space. With each launch, the product cases were lowered, the digital totems repositioned, and all digital content was updated, dramatically transforming the space and telling a whole new story each time, so that with every visit, a customer could experience the environment in a whole new way. The customer journey ends in an immersive fitting room zone with an infinity mirror box and interactive lighting, allowing the customer to choose their hue and snap that perfect infinite selfie from any angle. As you can see, the selfie room was pretty popular. Jason, the creative director, said the pop-up was a huge success, becoming a beacon for the brand in London, and was featured in a WGSN trend report, positioning the brand as a leading trendsetter for retail experiences. It's so exciting for us to work on projects like this that really push the boundaries of how a space is being used. Brands can use the pop-up as an incubator space, a platform to build and experiment. It's not about hitting sales targets. You couldn't actually buy the product in this space, but it's about experimenting with different ways to tell their story and connect with their consumer. And it's about measuring everything and capturing that all-important data. Trial and testing are moving from behind closed doors into stores. Temporary spaces such as pop-ups are controlled environments where retailers can test new ideas, evaluate new markets, and study shopping behaviors. Customers are being brought into the research and development process in real time. Invigorate future retail spaces with a sense of discovery and constant newness. In order to stay relevant, tap into those emotional motivators, and truly surprise customers, brands need to go back to that startup mentality of learning, testing the waters, adapting to change. Never before has the physical retail space been more important as a tool to validate product and retail priorities and collect valuable customer data in real life. Data will inform the future spaces we create. A pop-up can be an incubator space that is all about testing, flexibility, discovery, and newness. Retail experiences will become more conversational. Pop-up spaces are spaces where culture and commerce intersect, delivering powerful narratives that are more about feeling instead of reading. In order to connect, the pop-up should be driven by an emotive narrative. But these are stories that go beyond words. They're stories that are spatial, immersive, and sensorial. A story has the ability to foster meaningful emotional connections. People value things for the stories attached to them. Many sustainable brands recognize the value of their initiatives, but these are often communicated through digital channels rather than integrated into the store's design. In the physical retail landscape right now, there is very little conversation on how customers are accessing a product, how that product's being made, and how they can become more environmentally responsible and prolong that product's life. All of this can take place inside the store, but a new way of thinking about the retail experience is critical. With the use of physical, sensorial, and digital touchpoints in store, there are many ways that a store's design can tell a brand's sustainable story. Storytelling is the backbone of pop-up retail, using an environment to bring a narrative to life. The Infinity launch at 18 Montrose was an exclusive one-day pop-up event linked to the King's Cross Futurewear space that I just spoke to you about. Timed to coincide with the launch of Napapiri's Skidoo Infinity jacket. This is the world's first 100% recycled and recyclable jacket. It's the world's first circular jacket. I told you it was special. Studio XAG designed and fabricated the experience with a minimal waste approach, delivering interactive storytelling, encouraging the visitor to uncover the story behind this groundbreaking product. The journey began with a tactile installation using Econil, a regenerated nylon fabric which is used to make the Infinity Jacket, and it's made from waste, which is rescued from landfill and oceans. The fabric strips told stories of the product's past lives, such as carpet tiles and fishing nets. Visitors were invited to remove the strips from the wall and place them in an Infinity Jacket-shaped box, echoing the fabric's circular journey so that the visitor intuitively understands the product's life cycle. Over the course of the event, the words recycled, reimagined, reborn are revealed, further reinforcing the message. Sustainability no longer sits in a silo. It needs to be woven into your customer journey and retail touchpoints in order to build and retain trust and loyalty. If your sustainability policy is not visible, you risk alienating your customers who are becoming more conscious about their retail footprint. Make sure the social and environmental impact of your products is clear. Within the pop-up, guests could get a deeper insight into the collaboration with Econil through an intimate learning booth housing a thought-provoking film and animation by Given London. Another booth housed an infinite spectrum of light, colour and reflection, encouraging visitors to interact and take infinite selfies to spread the word. The Infinity Jacket itself took centre stage, encased within a two-way mirrored glass tank, dramatically hidden and revealed with integrated sequential lighting, a compelling reveal moment at the launch event where visitors took an exclusive first look at the product before the general public. The last stage in the experience allowed the visitors to get a deeper understanding of the journey of circular innovation and the creation of this groundbreaking product, as well as an opportunity for visitors to touch and feel the product itself. Consumers' increasing interest in sustainable living is reflected in new retail destinations where materials, design details, and energy use are carefully considered. We believe a sustainable approach is fundamental to the future of pop-up retail. In fact, Studio ZAG formed an in-house green team in early 2019 to research and improve our processes and output so that we can offer a more sustainable approach to the brands that we work with. We're really passionate about this, and we're striving for progress towards a sustainable future for our industry. Sustainability was considered in every aspect of the Infinity launch event, including bespoke zero-waste canapés and cocktails by sustainable innovator Mr. Lion. The Infinity launch is a great example of storytelling connecting with emotions to empower the experience. The 4-hour event earned over 100 social media posts with an audience reach of 120,000, really amplifying the message and showing that those stories really did connect. There needs to be a story behind what you sell, some connection, something that customers can have an affinity with. People value things for the stories attached to them. Make it meaningful. Future retail experiences will need to be more conversational to create true emotional connections with the customers, driven by value. Studio ZAG are storytellers, it's what we do, taking the story into the spatial, immersive, and sensorial experience. Memory's funny, isn't it? Why do we so intensely remember certain events and forget many others? Memories are formed when the mind and senses are engaged in a form of learning or revelation, an immersive experience. The pop-up experience can build memorability and make a lasting impression through immersion. An immersive experience invites us to enter a creation in which the boundaries between reality and imagination are blurred in order to significantly impact our feelings and/or modify our behaviors. They should be narrative-driven, sensorial, and interactive to best engage your customer. An experience that builds on surprise and intrigue is the Another World project we created for Level Shoes. Level Shoes is a footwear emporium situated in the Dubai Mall, spanning 9,000 square meters. Studio ZAG were briefed to define a visual identity for Spring/Summer 19, and we designed a series of pop-up installations throughout the store to reimagine the customer journey. Inspired by an imagined future, we created a space that showcased the power of immersive stories to transport visitors to new worlds. A futuristic journey of the elements of astrology, earth, fire, air, and water, to create a sense of place and a sense of world beyond that place. Executed spatially, This creates environments which affect all our senses. Another world is a place to experience immersive and sensory elements which unleash imagination and elicit an emotional response. So how did we get there? We defined an overarching visual identity inspired by a hyper-technical future. To draw people in and create a sense of intrigue, we treated the store facade with a graphic motherboard effect. To create a sense of flow between the spaces, we created a language. Intricate coded symbols appeared throughout the store as a visual link between each space. All can be translated by the customer to uncover the hidden messages and create a sense of discovery. How do you catch someone's attention? Windows that interact with customers, powered by motion tracking technology. One display featured a series of transparent screens with product encased within, and the falling digital code tracks and responds to customers' movements. The second window was a series of double helix structures, which changed direction in response to the customer's movements. We want people to stop, interact, and want to discover more. A cable motif connected the windows and the facade, feeding into corridors, which aligned portals with lit archways, drawing the customer into each space. Here you can see the render becoming reality. The digital futuristic effect was heightened by floor graphics, guiding customers through to discover each separate department that makes up the whole. For fire, we took advantage of a dark space within the women's contemporary department, taking inspiration from a volcanic eruption, using black basalt textures offset with orange highlights. A high-impact explosive image is brought into 3 dimensions by hundreds of illuminated orange rods sending sparks flying through the space. All enclosed within a mysterious black box, vibrant orange lighting creating a sense of intrigue to draw the visitor in. Earth takes over the women's designer area, copper touches adding a luxe element to the organic vibe. Mirror and code-clad columns puncture the space with 3D rocks in copper leaf spilling out onto the ceiling. A large linear structure brought the code to life in 3 dimensions. Soft pink quartz and copper take over tabletops and fixtures. For water, the men's designer area, we used polished surfaces and rippled textures to create reflections and distortion, the feeling of water taking over. A series of immersive pods were designed, featuring a rippled mirror exterior to take the visitor through 3 different states of water: ice, vapor, and liquid. Each pod used a combination of physical installations and sensory moments, such as emitting water vapor or playing soundscapes of rain or projections of cracking ice, to tell each story and create a truly multisensory experience. For air, the trend department, here we imagined inflatable forms, breathing walls. We wanted to create something disruptive and unexpected, which felt like it was taking over the space, using lightweight fabrics to create soft forms in a minimal palette with white light. It represents a big air machine, recreating the ever-changing visual effect of air billowing under fabric. Customers walk into the space, are surrounded by the installation and the product displayed in vacuum-formed bags, a breathing soundscape enhancing the effect. Thierry Pichon, the general manager of Level Shoes, said, "As a creative agency, Studio XAG truly understand the direction we're taking to shape the future of retail on an international scale. The partnership has been a collaborative effort to co-create another world of design and experience to produce a truly remarkable concept." Immersive experiences continue to rise. Destination and mall retail are undergoing major transformations as companies work to give shoppers memorable experiences that stimulate the senses, providing an entertainment-first approach to retail. The combination of fascination, a pleasant surprise, and desire create moments we remember. What does this all tell us? The future pop-up store doesn't look like a store at all. In order to truly connect and harness that emotive power, the future pop-up store should be a billboard, an aspiration, an opportunity to create something that stands out and speaks to your consumer in an authentic way. A cultural gathering space connecting brand to brand, customer to customer, and the local area to the pop-up space. A soft sell experience. It should be about experience over product. It's no longer a path to purchase, it's a path to people. A transformative customer journey, A space with continuous appeal, always something new and exciting, an incubator space to test new ideas. An emotive narrative. People value things for the stories attached to them. Make it meaningful. An immersive adventure. Create deeper and more engaging brand narratives through immersive experiences that inspire and excite. Hopefully I've inspired and excited some of you today. Studio ZAG work with brands all over the world to create wow moments. We turn imagination into tangible realities. We capture Alice's attention and we tell stories that create an emotional connection between a brand and their tribe. If I've connected with you and you want to know more, come and find me. I'm Gemma. I'll be here all day and all day tomorrow. Follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, check out our website to see more wow moments. Thank you.
Thank you, Gemma.
My pleasure.
I apologize for the technical
That's
hiccups,
quite
but
all
I'm
right.
sure that your story came across very well.
I hope so.
We have been reading a lot about an apocalypse in retail. Business disappearing, predominantly department stores. We have seen the departure of Hudson's Bay in the Netherlands, for instance. In America, it's a disaster. Shops closing down, I think in the UK as well. While if I look at your work, there seems no sign of that. I mean, happy people interacting with installations. How come?
I think our work only touches the transient retail side of things, and it's about newness, and it's about novelty, and it's about creating experiences. And if you can do that, you can create a sense of excitement, and you can innovate, then people will always come and engage with that. And I think that's probably how we tackle that. We need to think in a creative way and evolve our spaces to tell stories and to create emotional connections rather than purely being a space to come and shop.
Now, what if you are a retailer, and we have some in this space, with permanent shops, like a department store? What would be your advice?
For me, it's all about the novelty. It's about thinking creatively about how you can use your space to draw people in and give them something that they cannot experience online, because that's where we're struggling. The online marketplace has obviously grown a huge amount, and people can buy clothes online, but they cannot have these group experiences and these unique moments. And we're seeing the experience economy maturing a huge amount. People are paying to go to an ice cream museum or whatever. Like, if you can bring that into your retail space, then the transactions will become a byproduct of that engagement.
So what do department stores of the future earn their money with? With experiences, selling tickets?
Potentially. And I think if you can create that brand loyalty, people want novelty for themselves, for their outfits, etc. So if you can create the experience, bring the people to the space, then they will shop. It's more about like how much time someone spends with you now than how much product they're buying. And maybe we need to find a way of monetizing that, as you say, to sell tickets for an experience.
So let's open up to the audience. Are there any pressing questions amongst the retailers, retail designers in the audience? And please show your hand. We have a microphone. There's one over there.
Thank you for your talk. Is there a risk that all these installations and immersive experiences, whilst interesting, actually just detract from the product itself, and the product is no longer the hero, the installation is? How do you find the balance?
I think for us, whenever we're creating an experience, it is always centered around telling the story of the product. I think, yes, there could be a risk in some cases, but if you have the message that you're trying to communicate at the front and center of the experience you're creating, then you should be able to frame and amplify the product with the experience that you create.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is that do people not remember the installation versus, if they're selling a shoe or a chair or whatever, that actually ultimately there is a bottom line and that they need to shift at the end of the day? you see why?
I think if they remember the experience, amazing. They may still buy the product. Things are bigger than just a product now. It's about a whole brand narrative and how that speaks across all your different channels. And the product, obviously, that is the bottom line. But I think that just slots into a much bigger picture. And it might be that actually the person had an amazing experience. They didn't buy that product that your experience was about, but now they know about your brand, and actually they like this other product that they've encountered when they're researching or looking into your brand on their phone, or it's the path to purchase is completely messed up. So I think there is a danger that an experience can, well, it's not a danger, it's an opportunity that an experience can create more hype for your brand and thus shift your product in that way.
Thank you.
Products can be sold as souvenirs even of the experience.
Yeah, potentially.
Much like is happening in museum shops.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to a museum to be inspired, to learn, and then you pick up the catalog or whatsoever to have something to remember,
Yeah, that's
something
an interesting
tangible.
take on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, any more questions? Couple over here.
So the question is how to balance this race for hype and the drop culture with an idea of sustainability.
Yes, that is very much the question. And for us, it's about overhauling everything, actually. So we've formed our in-house green team early last year, and we're looking first at everything we're doing internally. So we're measuring our carbon footprint, and we've managed to reduce that, everything within our primary carbon footprint, which is everything we can control, such as shipping, flights, commutes, transport of our goods. We've managed to reduce that by 25% year on year, which is amazing, from 2018 to 2019. And now we're thinking, okay, what can we offer our clients? And it comes looking at the problem in lots of different ways. So from a design strategy point of view, it's how can we create spaces that can evolve and are not static, and the components can be used again and again in different setups. We're working with Napapiri on their global window rollouts, where we create a 200-store window rollout. They used to do one every month, and now they do one every season. So we've designed a kit of parts that lives for a year in a store, but updates, evolves, and changes to create that novelty that we still need in retail, because we can't put something in a window for a year because no one will be interested. So we're looking at it from a design strategy point of view. Obviously, in materials, it's really important, trying to minimize the use of virgin materials and use as much recycled materials as possible, and then trying to take control of the full life cycle of a project. So we're not handing it over to a brand and saying, okay, well, you do what you want with it now. If we can take that back and then disconnect all the parts and recycle or donate or give those things a second life. So there's no one solution, unfortunately, but there are many different approaches that we're trying to take to improve what we can offer our clients.
Last question over there, first row.
It was the same.
Okay. Yeah, it's really important.
Then somebody else
And we're
for
very
the last question.
aware.
Yes.
There's
Me.
something.
Hello. Hello. I'm over here.
Okay.
It's me again. I wanted to ask you, the design of a pop-up store of a brand, do you think it's necessary that the design elements of the pop-up store have to be a repetition of the design elements of the actual stores of this brand, or it can be entirely different?
I think you want to retain some brand identity that's cohesive, but I think what we love about pop-up stores is it gives you an opportunity to really push everything. So you can take everything a lot further than you can in a permanent retail store. So I'd say so long as there's some core elements that your consumer doesn't feel like they're on a totally different planet, then you can push everything much, much further and be much bolder and more exciting with the way that you're working the space.
But keeping still some elements.
I think you need to keep some elements, but that can be your logo, obviously, and your certain forms or certain bits of fixturing, but then you can really play up other elements so that you can make a much bigger impact than you could do in a permanent space.
Clear. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Gemma.
Thank you.
That was the end of it. Thank you very much for sharing your vision with us.
Thank you.